lifestyle lies, creating a podcast paradise. It's our work and sacrifice when you make a podcast paradise.
Storytime with John and Marty on 66.6.
That was Podcast Paradise by DJ Bobbity Bob. And welcome back to Storytime with John and Marty. What's next, Marty?
Guess what? In a bit, we're going to present another short story.
Another?
But first, it's time for news.
It's time for news on 66.6 BBC Radio Network. Here's our lead anchor, Will Smith. No, wait, that's not right. Will Swallow.
Our main story tonight. SATs are ruining our children and our future. This is BBC Radio Network News, only on 66.6. In other news, 3 cars trapped on the water as they tried to take the highway from LA to Tokyo. Luckily, nobody was injured since they all were scuba divers on their way to a scuba diving class. Facebook is down. And now the collaboration between Twitter and Instagram, Twitteragram, becomes the new social network giant. Meanwhile, in Central Europe, a man tried to smuggle his Russian wife across the French border. Vladimir Putin says that he personally will track the lost babushka down. Oh, this just in! Mark Zuckerberg just bought all rights from Twitteragram. Now, over to our main story event. In the USA, children everywhere become more and more depressed because of the rising demands on SATs results. We have our reporter Chris Rutherford at Chicago High School. Chris, what is the situation like?
Thank you, Will. Here at Chicago High School, the SAT is held 6 to 7 times a year. The big amount of tests held each year have a big impact on the students. Plenty of studies have shown the impact on the youth's lives during the test periods. A study from the Faculty of Medicine in Harvard University has shown that the SATs lead to a great production of the neurotransmitter GABA, which blocks the dopamine. This leads to grumpy students. Very, very sad students. Yes, indeed. It has been shown that there is a strong connection between the time the SAT is held and the amount of mental disorders. There are significant results from studies made by Professor Jean-Pierre Marcotte that have shown the connection between students who take the SAT and their mental health. An interview was held with Professor Mike Hawk, who told us about these periods during the students' lives. Professor Hawk, what do you have to tell us about this issue?
Yes, legalization of marijuana is very good. Almost too good. I usually spend approximately...
Excuse me. This interview is about the negative impacts on students caused by the SAT.
Oh, sorry. I smoked too much marijuana today. Their mental health has been affected negatively due to the massive production of the neurotransmitter GABA, which obstructs the effect of neurotransmitters as dopamine.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. The student, Jimmy Bond, has been interviewed and stated that he has difficulties finding time to do everyday chores because of the SAT. He was forced to use diapers during the SAT due to the strict toilet rules. Jimmy Bond describes the environment during the SAT.
It's a punishing environment. You sit in a room with plenty of strangers, and during the break, when you try to get some fresh air, you get hit in the face with the filthy air from the smokers. It's a horrible day, which happens 6 to 7 times a year. And the worst thing is that you have to pay for this each time.
It's alright, Jimmy. It's alright. What is the purpose with the SATs? Is it to ruin the future of our children, or is it to enlighten them? Because at the moment, it is ruining them. This is Chris Rutherford at BBC Radio Network News.
Thank you, Chris. And now it's time for sports with LeBron White. Over to you, LeBron.
Thank you, Will. Here's the sports news coverage for the week. A university has banned the students' football team, Rutherford Raiders, for wearing their new jersey because their only sponsor was a porn site. The racing drivers in the Australian Touring Car Championship were interrupted by a kangaroo jumping around the track. Sadly though, the kangaroo was not hurt. Now we're going to talk about what's on everybody's mind. Lewis Hamilton gets another first place in the Malaysia Formula 1 Grand Prix, beating Kimi Raikkonen again. The lead Mercedes Petronas driver Lewis Hamilton gets another first place in the Malaysia Formula 1 Grand Prix. Hamilton managed to lap the 5.5 kilometers track in a time of 1 minute 39 seconds .79, to go .37 seconds faster than Scuderia Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen. The second Petronas driver Nico Rosberg had set the pace during the morning lap with a time of 1 minute 40.28 seconds on hard tires, making his lap the third fastest in the race. The second Ferrari driver, Sebastian Vettel, on the other hand, spoiled his qualifying practice run with a spin on his 11th turn. Vettel later reported that he was distracted by a female figure with an enormous bottom styling on the corner. On other news, celebrity Kim Kardashian visited the Malaysian Formula One Grand Prix and watched the race closely by standing on the corner in the middle of the racing track. And now, back to you, Will.
Thank you. That was all important news today. We will end this news segment with a weather forecast.
Weather, brought to you by Rain. Rain, the healthiest water, now also in Europe.
Warning, not actual rainwater, not even water at all. Urine sample may occur, all rights reserved.
Tomorrow it will be cloudy at 14 degrees. On Friday it will be raining like it will be raining men. Hallelujah. Saturday on the other hand will be quite warm and the temperature will peak at a whole 19 degrees. Sunday will be raining cats and dogs with hail, storm and multiple tornadoes coming in from the east coast.
Oh my god, I'm like so hungry right now.
I know, me too. What should we eat?
Hola chicas, you hungry? Then come down to El Taco y El Burrito, the Mexican McDonald's. We have the spiciest tacos in the world and the most delicious burritos. You can find us in places as Sacramento, Yemen, Cairo and Dublin. Make sure you bring your goat milk, because your tongue may catch fire. So get yourself over here at El Taco y El Burrito now, before your taco gets cold. El Taco y El Burrito. And you thought your girlfriend was hot.
Oh.
Oh lord, this is so good.
Do you get exhausted when you climb the stairs? Even when there's only 2 steps? Do you have the muscle mass of a newborn baby? Have you tried working out? Well, now there's another solution. The Terminator Pill Pack, approved by Professor Jean-Pierre Mike Hawk. The Terminator Pill will give you that six-pack you always wanted. Will make you gain 300% more muscle mass in only 2 days. Order now on www.schwarzeneggerabs.com.
The Terminator Pill. You will be back on track.
Oh my god.
Storytime with John and Marty on 66.6.
Hello and welcome back to Short Storytime with John and Marty.
That was an interesting news segment.
Yes, I like the one about Kim Kardashian.
Of course you did. Oh, do you know what that sound means, John?
Yes, it's time for another short story.
Today we have short story expert Mithrandir Mehdi with us, and he will analyze the story One of These Days, written by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. But first, Lord George Cottonbottom the 21st, Sir David of Strawberry Fields, and DJ Bobbity Bob will read the story for us. Let's hear it.
Monday dawn, warm and rainless. Aurelio Escobar, a dentist without a degree and a very early riser, opened his office at 6. He took some false teeth, still molded in the plaster mold, out of the glass case and put on a table a fistful of instruments which he arranged in size order as if they were on display. He wore a collarless striped shirt, closed at the neck with a golden stud, and pants held up by suspenders. He was erect and skinny, with a look that rarely corresponded to the situation, the way deaf people have of looking.
When he had things arranged on the table, he pulled the drill towards the dental chair and sat down to polish the false teeth. He seemed not to be thinking about what he was doing, but worked steadily, pumping the drill with his feet, even when he didn't need it.
After 8, he stopped for a while to look at the sky through the window, and he saw 2 pensive buzzards who were drying themselves in the sun on the ridgepole of the house next door. He went on working with the idea that before lunch it would rain again. The shrill voice of his 11-year-old son interrupted his concentration.
Papa,
What?
the mayor wants to know if he'll pull his tooth.
Tell him I'm not here.
He was polishing a gold tooth. He held it at arm's length and examined it with his eyes half closed. His son shouted again from the little waiting room.
He says you are too, because he can hear you.
The dentist kept examining the tooth. Only when he had put it down on the table and finished the work did he say, "So much the better."
He operated the drill again. He took several pieces off a bridge out of a cardboard box, where he kept the things he still had to do, and began to polish the gold.
Papa,
What? He still hadn't changed his expression.
he says if you don't take out his tooth,
He'll shoot you.
Without hurrying, with an extremely tranquil movement, he stopped pedaling the drill, pushed it away from the chair, and pulled the lower drawer out of the table all the way out. There was a revolver.
Okay, he said, tell him to come and shoot me.
He rolled the chair over opposite the door, his hand resting on the edge of the drawer. The mayor appeared at the door. He had shaved the left side on his face, but the other side, swollen and in pain, had a 5-day-old beard. The dentist saw many nights of desperation in his dull eyes. He closed the drawer with his fingertips and said softly,
Sit down.
Good morning, said the mayor.
Morning, said the dentist. While the instruments were boiling, the mayor leaned his skull on the headrest of the chair and felt better. His breath was icy. It was a poor office. An old wooden chair, the pedal drill, a glass case with ceramic bottles. Opposite the chair was a window with a shoulder-high cloth curtain. When he felt the dentist approach, the mayor braced his heels and opened his mouth.
Aurelio Escobar turned the head towards the light. After inspecting the infected tooth, he closed the mayor's jaw with cautious pressure of his fingers.
It has to be without anesthesia, he said.
Why?
Because you have an abscess.
The mayor looked him in the eye. All right, he said, and tried to smile. The dentist did not return the smile. He brought the basin of sterile instruments to the work table and took them out of water with a pair of cold tweezers, still without hurrying. Then he pushed the spittoon with the tip of his shoe and went to wash his hands in the wash basin. He did all this without looking at the mayor, but the mayor didn't take his eyes off him.
It was a lower wisdom tooth. The dentist spread his feet and grasped the tooth with his hot forceps. The mayor seized the arms of the chair, braced his feet with all his strength, and felt an icy void in his kidneys, but didn't make a sound. The dentist moved only his wrist, without rancor, rather with a bitter tenderness, he said.
Now you'll pay for 20 dead men.
The mayor felt the crunch of bones in his jaw, and his eyes filled with tears, but he didn't breathe until he felt the tooth come out. Then he saw it, through his tears. It seemed so foreign to his pain that he failed to understand his torture of the 5 previous nights.
Bent over the spittoon, sweating, panting, he unbuttoned his tunic and reached for the handkerchief in his pants pockets. The dentist gave him a clean cloth. Dry your tears, he said.
The mayor did. He was trembling. While the dentist washed his hands, he saw the crumbling ceiling and a dusty spiderweb with a spider's eggs and dead insects. The dentist returned, drying his hands.
Go to bed, he said, and gargle with salt water.
The mayor stood up, said goodbye with a casual military salute, and walked toward the door, stretching his legs without buttoning up his tunic. Send the bill, he said.
To you or the town?
The mayor didn't look at him. He closed the door and said through the screen,
It's the same damn thing.
Wow, that was jaw-dropping.
Yeah, but there were a few words that were new to me.
Not to me, but for your sake I brought a vocabulary expert. Welcome to the show, Rocky Martin!
Thank you. I'm content to be here. Well, in the story, we encountered some difficult words which could be a bit complex to the community of people with English as a second language. Thus, I brought to you my big dictionary of short stories. This includes all the essential explanations of the difficult words of the short stories in recorded history.
Well, let's hear it.
First off, we have the word corresponding, which means things that are each other's equivalents. Then we have pensive, which means showing or expressing deep or melancholy thoughts. Right after pensive, there was the word buzzards. The buzzard is a large bird, similar to the hawk. The buzzards were sitting on the next word, which is ridgepole. That is a horizontal beam that supports the roof of the house. The more you know. Later on, we have a sentence that could be difficult if you don't know what a dental bridge is. That is a prosthetic tooth that replaces several teeth next to each other. The next word is tranquil, which means calm. The word after that is a medical term, anesthesia. That is a process where the patient loses sensitivity and can't feel any pain. The dentist said that the major had an abscess. That is skin filled with dead white blood cells. The next word is spittoon, which is a bowl that you can spit in. After that there was the word rancor. That means hatred. Then we have the word handkerchief, which is a napkin. And that was all the difficult words that I found.
Well, thank you, Rocky, and thanks for being on our show.
My pleasure.
Alright, Marty, what's next?
Next up, we have an interview with short story expert, soon-to-be Nobel Prize winner, professor in literature, Mithrandir Mehdi. We have our colleague Charles Wayne with the Professor Mithrandir right now.
So what does the story mean? What is the message?
One of These Days, written by Garcia Marquez, is about the complex nature between the politicians and the middle class. In the story, the dentist Aurelio Escobar has an extremely filthy clinic, as shown by the way the author describes the setting, with a crumbling ceiling and a dusty spider web with spiders' eggs and dead insects. You then notice that the dentist is not particularly wealthy. At the same time, the mayor shows his power from the very start he's introduced in the text. He threatens to shoot the dentist if he refuses to pull out his aching tooth. He then proceeds to help the mayor.
Why does the dentist do that? What cause does he have?
The dentist wants to seize the opportunity to display his own power and to have revenge on the mayor, who apparently has caused the death of 20 men in the town. This is obviously a tragedy in the town, and we learn that when the dentist says, "Now you will pay for our 20 dead men."
I see. Then what is the outcome?
Well, the dentist proceeds to pull out the mayor's tooth, but he does it without anesthesia to punish the mayor. The mayor himself knows he is underpowered during the procedure and feels inclined to once again illustrate his authority. He does this by inclining that the town and he are the same damn thing when the dentist asks where he is going to send the bill. Therefore, the dentist only had very little control over the mayor under a very short time. Like I said in the beginning, this is used to describe how much control the authorities and politicians can have if they abuse their power.
Thank you so much, Mithrandir. This was a very interesting interview. Now back to you, Marty and John.
Now that short story really touched me now when I understood it.
Like always, Marty, like always. Now it's time for our annual trivia. It's time for you listeners to show that you listened carefully to the story.
Most of you probably didn't even notice that we were reading a story.
Yeah, you were probably just sitting down with your new iPhone 7.
Or your iPad Vacuum or something.
But for those of you who have a Nokia and didn't have anything else to do but listen, we have some great prizes for you.
That's right, Jan. And this year we have collected 9,284.67 pounds.
Thanks to the Short Story and Poem Foundation. These £9,000 can be yours if you call in on the number 555-0123-457 and answer our question.
So, the ultimate question of today is, what is the name of the story? Hello?
Hello, I'm calling from the Indian call center. I'd like to answer the question. Is the name Scrubs? Because I love the Turk boy.
No, that's an American TV series.
Oh yes, very good quality. Very good. When I got you on the line, would you like to buy a phone?
Hello? Hi. The answer is one of these days.
Very good. You almost won 8,000 quid. Very nice. We're on to another question, which is the ultimate question. You can win 7,000 pounds if you answer correctly. Here it comes. What was the dentist's name?
Aurelio Escobar. Why are you lowering the amount of money?
The answer is correct. Amazing. You are doing very well out there. So close to win 5,000 pounds.
Stop lowering the prize money.
The final question. You will remember for your whole life if you answer correctly. What was the daughter's name?
The daughter's name was maybe Anastasia? No, genius. There was no daughter in the story. It was a son. Great try, everyone.
Therefore, nobody wins. Isn't that just money down the drain?
And that ends it all. Thank you for listening to Short Story Time with John and Marty. Next time we will have a special guest, Morgan Freeman, here to read a polystory, Jak rozpętałem drugą wojnę światową.
Yeah, that's gonna be rad. Also, we're going to have special guest Tyler Hunter here, who will talk about his new documentary. See you next time.
Storytime with John and Marty on 66.6.
I am your father.